Today we're going to be talking about the best attainable allocated bottles. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to Brad's Bourbon Reviews. I'm Brad, and today we're talking allocated bottles. And more specifically, we're talking about allocated bottles that you can actually probably find at a drop, at a raffle, something like that. These are not highly allocated bottles, so no Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, no Mr. Sam, no Russell's Reserve 15s, nothing unicorn status. So keep in mind when watching this video, what is allocated to you in the area that you live in is specific to the area that you live in. It doesn't reflect everyone. There are places like California that get a ton of allocation. There are places like Florida here where I get a ton of allocation. It just kind of depends. So this is just like a general list of bottles that are easily to obtain an allocation as far as allocation goes. Some of these entries will be more than one bottle. You'll see why when I get to them, and these are in no particular order. Let's go ahead with the first one. First one up here is good old Knob Creek 12-year. I don't even know if you can technically call this allocation. I know some people can get it relatively easily like myself, but I also know that sometimes it's hard to come by. For the price, it's hard to do much better than Knob Creek 12. You get a 12-year age-stated bourbon at 100 proof, and it's really, really good. Moving on to the next one. This one's one that wouldn't have been on this list a year and a half to 2 years ago. This is a bottle of Blanton. You can say what you want about Blantons, but there was a time when this bottle was incredibly hard to come by. I mean, I remember seeing them sitting on shelves at liquor stores, not even being into whiskey and bourbon at the time, and just remembering that the bottle looked cool and the horse looked cool. And then like fast forward 3 or 4 years, they're in the ABC vaults, and they're still going for crazy money on secondary. Like I still see these going for like $125. They're like really $60. I picked one up at Walmart just a few days ago. It was $61.99. And it wasn't even the Walmart that I typically go to for allocated bottles. So these are becoming more and more readily available. You can get them at the Buffalo Trace gift shop like 2 or 3 times a week. These have definitely become more on the available side of allocated bourbons, and that's why they're on this list. I do like Blanton's, by the way. I know some people really don't like it. I think if you get it for $60, it's really good. It's a single barrel. It's at a sub 100 proof, but it's still really solid. 93 proof. It's still a really solid bottle when you want something that is, just a little bit more elegant. Moving on to the next one. Up next, we have another bottle from Buffalo Trace. This is one of my all-time favorites. This is just plain Jane Eagle Rare 10-year. Definitely not the 12-year. I have still yet to see the Eagle Rare 12-year in person outside of the tasting that I had when I was at the Buffalo Trace Distillery for Kentucky Bourbon Festival. I picked one of these up earlier this week at an allocation drop here. So these are really, really available, and I think I paid $31 for this. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but Walmart's awesome if you can get stuff at Walmart because they do dead on MSRP. I love Eagle Rare. It's not the end-all be-all to bourbon. It is still really solid, though. I drink a lot of Eagle Rare because I really like it. I actually use Eagle Rare a lot as a mixer. That cherry note and the sweetness that's on this is really solid. It's a really approachable bourbon, too. If you are trying to get someone into bourbon, this is a really good gateway bourbon. And it has become more available as well. I'm starting to see these actually sit on shelves now in Publix's around here. Publix's? So that's good. So the fact that this can be pretty readily available is awesome to me. I'm a big fan of Eagle Rare. Moving on to the next one. All right, this one's probably the most difficult one on this list to find. This is Stag, aka Stag Jr. These were really easy in the allocation game to come across until the 2025A. I have still yet to see that one come out in public. I tried it at Buffalo Trace when one of the days of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. They did a really good job about rotating what was being on the tasting bar during the festival, so that was really cool. But I still have yet to see one. So this one is pending them still releasing it, because I don't know how we only got one batch in 2025 when we had 4 batches in 2024. So these are more available for sure than they used to be, because I never used to see them at all. And then last year, just because of Walmart's, I got all 4 of the batches. Definitely on the harder end of attainability on this list, and this is probably the hardest one to find on this list, but still, they are out there. And sometimes you can find them at reasonable prices, sometimes they're crazy. But if you're going to a state drop or something like that, you should be able to get a bottle of Stag. A lot of the state-run liquor states will do single barrels of Stag, which is really cool. I've seen that happen a few times in North Carolina, and I've missed them both times, but they are there and pretty readily available. Moving on to the next one. All right, the first dual one here. So we have 2 bottles that I think are some of the best bottles of the year, to be honest. We have Jack Daniel's 10-year and 12-year. Notice that the 14 did not make this list. That's just because that bottle's crazy hard to find, and I overspent on it, and I kind of wish I hadn't, but I'm glad I have it. This is Jack Daniel's 10-year batch 4 and Jack Daniel's 12-year batch 3. I feel like these are like some of the most attainable special releases that get done throughout the year. I don't really ever see anyone being like, I really wanted one and I couldn't find one. I mean, these get put out on shelves here in Central Florida, just at Total Wines. And, I feel like I see everyone talking about how good they are. So that means people are getting them. And even on secondary pricing, they're not crazy. I mean, these retail like, I think like 70 or 80 bucks. They go for like 125 shipped, which isn't horrible. I mean, it's definitely not MSRP, but for how good this is, if they up this to 125, I'm still buying it every time. And the same thing kind of with this one. This one's a little bit more expensive, but to be honest, they're both exceptional this year. This is the best the 10 has been, I think, in my opinion, and this is definitely the best the 12 has been. If you ever at a drop and you're curious, like maybe you're not huge into Jack Daniels, you should definitely still give one of these a try, unless there's something else that you really, really want over it. But I still think at some point, if you're not really into Jack Daniels, you should still give these a try. Moving on to the next ones. But before we get any further into this video, we need to thank today's sponsor, me. This episode is brought to you by my Patreon. If you like the videos that you see here over on YouTube, there is a cool little community over on Patreon. We have 2 tiers available currently right now. The other ones are sold out. We have a $5 tier, which will give you access to 2 extra videos for Patreon and 2 audio exclusive episodes of the podcast each month. You also get early access to the videos that I do post. Basically, I'm a one-man team. So basically, when I post a video, it goes to Patreon almost immediately. There's also a $10 tier, which gets you everything that the first tier does, plus access first to barrel picks. You get to dictate the videos you want to see. There are polls. There's a lot of fun over there. If you are so inclined and you like this channel and you'd like to support a smaller content creator, head on over to the link in the description. You can check out the Patreon. Thank you guys for watching, and back to the video. All right, these are a little more attainable than the Stags, but only slightly. I've seen these come through a lot, and I want you guys to hear me out on these. These are Weller Foolproof and Weller 107. So the reason I'm saying these are more attainable, I can only go by my area. And the only way we can get Weller products in the state of Florida is through the ABC store. It is not a state run. It's just what the family owned business is called, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. They have an agreement with their distributor that they are the only ones that can distribute Weller products in the state of Florida. And the only ones that they put out on the shelf are Weller Special Reserve. So if you want one of these bottles, you have to be a member of the ABC Vault program. So the reason I'm throwing these in here is because for me, I have seen these in almost every single ABC Vault drop in the last few months. And for a long time, I never saw either one of these in the Vault. And it was a long time before I got a 107. I actually got a CYPB and a Foolproof first out of the Vault. And then much later on down the line, I was able to get my hands on a 107 through the Vault. Took a long time. But these have both been in there like consistently along with Weller 12 year. So if it's becoming easy for me to find these bottles, I kind of have to extend that out to it's kind of easier for everyone now to find these. And I don't mean easy. I don't mean you walk into a liquor store and you see them sitting on shelves, but I do think that these have become easier to get as allocated bottles. I almost put Weller 12 in here, but I feel like that one's still a tough one for people to find. But these tend to be the ones I see out and about the most. They are both really good. If you've never tried one, you should definitely do it. And I've also started to see that the secondary prices are falling for these, which is fantastic. Moving on to the next one. Up next, I have a bottle from Old Forester. I debated putting this one on the list or not, but then I remembered I have seen this one out sitting on shelves for MSRP a handful of times now. To me, that means it is pretty regularly available amongst allocated bottles. This is Old Forester 1924. This is probably my favorite of the Whiskey Row series. I think it's really good. I think it's overlooked. I think if they had priced it differently, this would be one of those bottles that everyone said was incredible and that you should be grabbing and blah, 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 blah. I was really hoping this would become more of a permanent edition, which maybe it is permanent, but like special release. But I was kind of hoping that this would be just like the rest of the Whiskey Row series, where you walk into pretty much any liquor store and they're just sitting there chilling on the shelf. But I don't think that's going to happen with this one. But I do really like 1924. I think it's fantastic. It's a good 10-year bourbon. It is expensive, but you know, sometimes you get what you pay for. And with this one, it's really solid. Moving on to the last ones. All right, we're ending up with two here for the last ones. I debated on which of the two E.H. Taylors to go with. I knew I was going to include E.H. Taylor small batch because, I mean, literally, these were sitting for a week on a shelf at a Walmart near me, just in the cabinet for a week. So these are definitely becoming more readily available, and these should be shelf stable. I hope at some point they are, because these are just so freaking good. I love E.H. Taylor Small Batch. It's one of my favorite bottles on the planet. I don't talk about it enough for how much I love it, but I really do love E.H. Taylor Small Batch. The other one I was debating on was E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, because I've picked a few of those at allocated drops here and there for MSRP, but the one I settled on with was a single barrel, and this happens to be a pick, but just ignore the pick. This is also become more readily available because I have seen these pop up at Walmarts around me, Publix is around me, Walgreens, like everywhere is getting E.H. Taylor Small Batch and E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. So I think that these are the two easiest to find out of the entire E.H. Taylor lineup, and honestly, probably two of the best. I mean, outside of the barrel proof, but those vary wildly. These are usually pretty consistent, so I love E.H. Taylor. So comment down below, let me know what bottles you think I missed on this Attainable allocated list. While you're down there, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, because we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, cheers. A big thank you to all the Patreon supporters you see on screen right now.